Good Lion has teamed up with a small family business to bring you a topical that's been proven to detoxify the brain of heavy metals, poisons, and other toxins, all of which when detoxed make way for optimal brain function. ARII is an herbal formulation for anyone needing to detox, and specifically for anyone with autism. ARII has not only been freeing those with autism, but also those taking care of loved ones with it. Caretakers can breathe again, and autistic behaviors dissipate. This formulation is an herbal blend which is produced in small batches, containing only the cleanest and most vibrant ingredients. Because the individual ingredients are uniquely extracted, gently and naturally by the sun, they can be absorbed directly into the bloodstream within seconds, via the soles of the feet or the navel. This method avoids the digestive tract and has proven more effective than pills or capsules. This is a two-step program requiring a 12-day detox first, which helps eliminate any heavy metals and toxins accumulated in the brain. This is then followed by autism support and is recommended to use for as long as results are desired. The formulation contains no chemicals, CO2, or solvents, ensuring that it's pure and natural. Are you treating with ARII?
Hey, hey, hey! Welcome everybody to the Love and Action Show with me, Alpa Soni, and my very dear friend Mark Attwood. Long time no see, Mark. How are you?
No, I saw you about an hour ago on WhatsApp.
Yeah, this is true. This is, I've been really looking forward to this because I actually haven't invited you properly on my show since my very first show back in October 2020. And I've always, the shows that we've done together have never been planned. They've been spontaneous and impromptu. And today was a bit more formal and properly organized. So what's going on, Mark? How are you? How's everything? What's
I've just been doing Dad's taxi for 2 hours, and I literally just got in. But yeah, strange week for me. My youngest, one of my twin boys got put into hospital this week, and I had to go in to the hospital, and it wasn't me that put him there; it was his mother, and it was horrible beyond belief going into that environment, because they were like, she told me that there were no restrictions and stuff. And I got there and the security guards was like, you have to wear a mask. And I said, no, I fucking don't. And then he said, yeah. I said, and he was like, I don't want to get in a fight with you. I said, I don't want to get in a fight with you. COVID doesn't exist, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? I've had it 3 times. No, you haven't. You can't catch a virus. This is on YouTube. I can't say any of this stuff. Because I just got, my YouTube's been on a strike all week for medical misinformation. And I did an appeal, and I was like, is it medical misinformation if it's just the opinion of a medium? How's that medical misinformation, you fucking numbnuts? But so that was a bit heavy, threw me off course for a bit, because it was like going back to 2020, and then the nurses were the same. I walked through the door, they had a big perspex panel in case they catch the deadly thing. And they're all there with their mask down here, chin wagging. And as soon as they see me, they pull it up. And then they go, where's your mask? And I was like, fuck off. Where's my son?
It's so sad that, even in the US, they still carry on like that. I had to use the medical facility there, and they wouldn't let me in without a mask. And I was just like, I can't believe we're still going through that. And I had to have a procedure awake because I refused just a few weeks ago. About a month ago, because I refused to have a PCR. The hospitals did not want to perform the procedure on me because I didn't do a PCR test. So I had to go private and do it awake, and it was bloody painful with 2 paracetamols. It's still going on. I mean, one of the main reasons I wanted to reconnect with you, Mark, is, you're a very dear friend of mine, and you've been doing a lot of stuff in this movement. You've been instrumental, and thank you for what you do, because not only, I just want to share this, I'm going to embarrass Mark, but not only does he have a lot of funny things to say online, and he's just done some really creative things, and he's been a great warrior in this movement. He's been a very dear friend to me personally, and he has got some of the best advice, and so I want to thank you and just embarrass you for doing that. But 2 years on, I have myself, I think it's common knowledge now that I became very despondent in this movement. And up until recently, I haven't been wanting to come online, be in the public, domain and just hide really. And now I feel this kind of renewed sense of spirit with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of things that I've learned along the way, and come back out and continue this. Where, in your opinion, are we at the moment?
We're right on the cusp. Time doesn't exist in the other dimensions, but we're right on the cusp, and it's like, oh, come on, we're so close, But I'm not doing dates. Phil Godlewski, who's a controversial figure, he reckons EBS before September. Tarot by Janine says the same sort of thing. And there's tons of people doing all that kind of stuff, but I stay away from it. But I know that I feel I'm an apocalyptimist, right? So
sorry, say that again.
Apocalyptimist. I think I'm going to call my poetry book "Musings of an Apocalyptimist" because I love that word. I've always been optimistic about the outcome, always, and I've always been positive, which is why I think people like us started talking about this stuff, because just ordinary people standing up who happen to know some stuff. I mean, my spiritual journey in the last 10 years has been like a fucking roller coaster, and impossible to ignore stuff that you have to talk about. But combine that with the fact that I've been waking up since 1989, and the tens of thousands, if not 100,000 of hours studying and reading about all this stuff. And that's I know very strongly that we came here to help. And it's been a real privilege to be able to do that. Who'd have thought, just talking on YouTube from a kitchen would save lives? I mean, that's what it's done. And and I don't mean that in an ego way. It's just that's what's kept me going, because of all the emails I get from people saying thank you. And I'm like, wow, am I actually doing something good with my life? Now it all makes sense. All the things that happened in your life before, and a lot of people watching this will be thinking the same thing. All the things that you did in your life, all the career paths, all the relationships, all make sense for this time, because this is what we came here for. We all had a job to do. Every single person watching this, every person, every human being on the planet came here for this, the greatest show in the universe, because this really is the greatest show in the universe, because we're ascending 110%. We're ascending, and the planet's ascending with us, and we're going to remember it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's an incredible future that we've got.
Yeah, and you were brilliant at the Charlie Ward Reawaken experience in Birmingham. Talk to us about that, because obviously I was there with you, nervous wreck. I could barely speak, everyone. He was brilliant. He was such a good host. And I just come back from America and pretty much jet lagged, and I just did not know what I was going to say. And it's actually really different to be in the public rather than behind the screen, because we just sat here, we're talking about things, and then being in public, I actually shat my pants. I was really nervous, but you were brilliant. What was that experience like for you?
It was amazing. And, I got asked to do it, and I initially said no. And then I was like, hang on a minute, I want to meet these people. I wanted to meet all the people that were talking on stage, but more importantly, I wanted to meet the people in the audience. And I think I must have given out about 600 hugs that day. And it was...
Yeah, I know.
And I've been a public speaker for most of my life. And the last 10 years has really been internet marketing stuff, because that's, been my business, and, giving seminars and talks. But this was different, because this was talking about this stuff out in the open. But it was a bit like being a best man at your mate's wedding, because I couldn't really go wrong, but I used to be a stand-up comic in the 90s, right? So, and it's been a long time since I've done comedy, but I treated it like it was a comedy gig. And because I thought, well, we've got to make this fun. We've got to make this entertaining, heavy subjects that we're talking around. So I'll just weave through everybody with some comedy and some poetry. And some of the poems are funny, and some of them are heavy, but they're not, but they're positive.
Yeah.
And I just found it to be one of the best experiences of my life so far. I absolutely adored doing it, and the energy in the room was incredible.
It
The
was
people were amazing, and
very supportive, very,
yeah,
very supportive.
and the frequency of that room, you know, each one of us can affect the consciousness of thousands of people. So when you get 700 people in a room together, all with operating a really high vibe, love-based frequency, that has a massive effect. And especially where it was in the middle of Birmingham, because
Yeah,
Birmingham's a dark place, you know, as most places are. But
yeah.
Birmingham, I mean, Tolkien based Mordor on Birmingham, the West Midlands. My mum lives there as well. My brother lives there,
In
so it was
Rome.
great. It was great to see them. Hello, bits. How's it going? Great.
Yeah.
You know,
You're right.
how's it going, bruv?
144. 144 people following us.
Is it? I've had that three times today. I went for a drive today.
All day today.
Yeah, I just thought, fuck it, I'm going for a big drive. I cancelled everything, and we went up to the coast, and it was beautiful. So I'm getting distracted. So yeah, more. I mean, you know, there was a couple. I just, you know, it was a day of extremes. I mean, it was a weekend of extremes. I actually did a tour that week around the UK to meet up with people that I've not met physically. People like Catherine Edwards and
We love Catherine Edwards.
I've met you physically before. You've stayed at my house, so you know I'm going to come and see you again soon as well.
Yep.
And I went down to see Antonia Harmon in Cornwall, and that was lovely. And there's a story about that connected to this T-shirt. I'll tell you about that in a sec. But what's, you know, just to explain to the audience that the doing this kind of work brings you immense an immense network of people and information and knowledge. And there was a couple that came up to me at the end of the show, and they just snuck in just to speak to me. They hadn't gone to the show, and they were like, "Can we meet you tomorrow?" And I went, "Okay." I got a good feeling from them, so I said, "Yeah." So I met them the next day, and they were both SRA survivors. And what they don't want to be public about it, but what they told me was so horrific, people just wouldn't believe it. They just would. It's beyond belief. And I've known this for such a long time because I had dealings with cabal people involved in big court cases involving paedophilia. You know, and it's like one of those experiences. Like, why did that happen in my life? But you know, you get to this point. Well, yeah, and you can talk with authority about these subjects that people think are crack. You think you're crackers, but I mean, really, I think even we're going to be shocked when the truth comes out. I mean,
100%.
the truth is even worse than we think.
Well, do you remember the Hampstead cover-up case with the 2 children?
Of course I do, yeah.
Of course, and I spoke to the mother, and then she wanted to actually come on my show, and the person that linked us up, I can't really say much, but she had to disappear for reasons for protection for me and my life, and because I was very gung-ho at that moment about, you know, getting her on the show, speaking about it, but we're still quite a far away from being able to talk about this openly. The public will not they will not accept it. And funnily enough, the whole subject of why we are fighting for this with the children and stuff, it still gets me very jittery to this day, because there was a period where I was fighting, sharing this information. And then it hit me with the severity of what it really entails and what it is. So yeah, I can imagine, you know, hearing about it back then. And yes, I totally agree. We will even be shocked. But look, see, I start getting funny even when I talk about it now.
Oh, Ali Holmes just said you were awesome in Vegas, Mark. Thank God for that, because I did this Zoom call to the Vegas Truth Tour, but it was 1 o'clock. Well, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't see or hear anybody. And I really, you know, you need feedback, right? And I thought, did it work? Did it, you know? I was like, was it any good? I had no idea. But thank you for that, Ali. That's really nice to hear.
Nick's in the house. Everyone, Nick's movies.
Nick's here. I was listening to Nick's voiceover when you were cranking it up, and I was like, God damn, I want to sleep with him. What a voice.
He's got the best voice. You know, he did that ARII video in like 5 minutes, like literally.
Yeah, no, he's one take Nick. It's like me, one take Mark.
Nick. I know. Yeah. We've got the website almost. We're going to have the ARII website soon live. And yes, his movie's out today at 11:11. He did promise that we are going to release it today. So it's part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, please go on the Good Lion YouTube channel and watch it. Weird history. And then part 2 is on his Good Lion portal. So, yeah.
Hey, Nick's saying he wants the shirt. So I'm going to tell you the story about this shirt.
Okay, yes.
So where are we? We are definitely in the age of Aquarius. The ETs are definitely there. I've seen them, right? All of this stuff is happening. What's really interesting is all the truthers. I wrote a line in a poem about a year ago. The truthers ate each other because I knew this was going to happen. I knew people were going to start falling out, disinformation, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to comment on anybody because I'm just watching it, right? But it's the age of instant manifesting, synchronicities off the charts, the numerology is off the charts, the sacred geometry is everywhere. So the story behind this is that when I was in Cornwall, I spoke to Antonio and I said, listen, I've not been out of Ireland in ages. If I'm going to Cornwall, my lover, right? This is what I want. I want lobster on the beach. I want lobster and champagne on the beach. Otherwise, I'm not coming. So we had this boozy lunch and it was fabulous. And we're walking back into town to find a pub. And these 2 women were walking towards us. It was just us 2 and those 2 on this long road. And as these women were coming, there was a black woman and a white woman with huge boobs. And on her boobs has a T-shirt and it said C-U-N-T, right? And I was like
that?
I was like, I have to speak to her. So I went up to her and I said, I wrote a poem, great T-shirt. I wrote a poem with that word in. Do you want to watch it? And I played her the poem, and which obviously contains a lot of C words. And did your mum watch that?
Yeah, well, she goes, Alpa, what is this? Well, you hear my mum say it wasn't attractive at all. She's such a lady.
Well, taking ownership of swear words is really important for our personal power.
It is.
And they are cunts. Fuck it, they are cunts. Anyway, so the first line of the poem says, during the days of the great plandemic, and she went, plandemic? Because she's from Manchester, right? She went, plandemic, are you one of us? And I went, are you one of us? And it turns out she's fucking amazing. Stacey's World Rock, she's known as. And Stacey's been going around the UK for the last year in a camper van and doing talks around the country saying, forget the system. It's a bag of shite. It's all fiction. Reclaim your direct debit. Stop paying your energy bills. Stop paying your TV license. And just that one woman has reclaimed £1.2 million so far from people that have just followed her advice about getting out of the system. She doesn't listen. She takes no shit whatsoever. She rubs some people up the wrong way, but she's absolutely brilliant. And she has this T-shirt brand called Profanity Gear on Etsy. And I've been proudly wearing this around town today. And it's very, very interesting when you wear a T-shirt like this because everybody clocks it. And then you got to watch their reaction.
Say anything to you? Do you get stopped?
I haven't been stopped yet because I've only worn it today. But I did notice people clocking it and then having a chat to who they were with and stuff like that. So, but it's very empowering. T-shirts are very, very empowering, right?
Of course.
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
the one that you gave me with the dinosaur and the CUNT, my mum was horrified that I wore that. And
did I give that to you? I wonder where that had gone.
You gave that to me when I came to yours to stay, and yeah, I wore it in Mill Hill Broadway, and I definitely had people looking at me because it's like she's a lady and she's like, you know, exhibiting profanities. But no, yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to put it in people's faces. I mean, it's. You know, I mentioned the EBS, and I really, really hope I think the EBS will happen because 17 said it would, right? And I can't see any other way of getting through this. And
let's talk about this, right? We've been anticipating that for 2 years, and while I've been kind of off,
Nick wants me to take the T-shirt off. Sorry, I'll just.
Sorry,
Nick. Nobody wants to see a 53-year-old man's bazooms.
Well, you've been working out, haven't you, Mark?
Yes, I have.
You know. Yeah. Just wanting to touch on that, like this EBS, and I remember back in 2020 we were anticipating this happening, but 2 years on, I'm glad you still think it's going to happen because that would be the best way for humanity to wake up. But the reality of it, is it going to happen?
Well, I'm an apocalypse optimist, so we manifest.
Good answer.
We manifest all this shit, right?
Me.
So what's going on is that there's billions of people and they've had symbols beaming instructions into our minds, and then we've created our own prison. But that they're losing that power, and some of us have the God spark, and that is the weapon that works against them, and it's pure light, and they can't stop it. And then what we've got to do is just let go of all the programming and create the universe that we want. In fact, there's an affirmation. I've done 3 interviews with a guy called Ian Welch recently on my channel, and I put him on the channel because he's such a profoundly good healer with 41 years experience, and he's a really humble man based in Cornwall, again, which is one of the best parts of the world. And Ian came on, and he had this message. He's been teaching people how we have full control over the atoms in our body. Our atoms are working on automatic, right? But really, we need to move to stick shift for the Americans, or manual for the English speakers, right? And that means that they're just waiting for instructions. So the instructions have been coming in from the cabal, and the body's been following those programs, such as this, such as such as cancer. They're all programs, right? So we can reprogram all of that using our incredibly powerful manifesting machines known as the mind, right? And our pineal and pituitary glands. So I'd like to read Ian's affirmations out, if I may.
Yeah, sure. And also, just to interrupt you there, sorry. A lot of people have been commending your poetry, so I want to definitely show that after you read this.
Oh, that's cool. I really appreciate that, because the poetry has been like such a gift.
I think I'm a big fan. I love it.
For me, it's just been amazing. Right, so I'm going to read these affirmations. So everybody, on my Telegram channel, the Mark Attwood Show Adventures in the Cosmic Suit 2, the 2 is important. That's the live channel at the moment. I'm posting these affirmations every morning, or when I remember. And there's a few of them, but I'm just going to read these out. I choose for my 4 bodies to come to harmony with the golden age and my universal God self frequency. I choose for my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bodies to come back to me as one. I choose not to be infected or affected by anything below my universal God self frequency. I choose not to be infected or affected by the changes in my 4 bodies and my chakra systems. I choose not to be infected or affected by any physical labors throughout this day. Now, everybody, if we can get, I can't remember the number, but it's I think it's about 100 and something thousand people. You've got 100. That's all you need. 100,000 people doing that every day. They can't touch us. 5G can't touch you. None of that can touch you. Your body then aligns with the God self frequency, and the God self frequency is the version of you in the future that has attained God's status, and we can all call upon that version of ourselves because that's vibrating at such a high frequency. So what Ian's been teaching people is, think big. Go to your God self frequency. And if you talk to Archangel Michael, ask for the highest iteration of Archangel Michael, because some people are doing all this kind of stuff, but they're pulling down lower versions of all these things. And that's what's slowing us down.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ego and narcissism going around. And I'm just observing this movement, especially the truther movement, where it's sad and unfortunate that we're forgetting what this truly is about. And it's bringing in God consciousness and that unity consciousness, that frequency that you were speaking about earlier on. It's so important that we remember, that we remember what this really is about. But it's human behavior, it's human nature, and it's interesting to see how this movement has evolved. But we have a choice. We have a choice and how we perceive things. 2 things are very important for me, especially, is your perception and your intention and what you want to do. And are you congruent with this movement from a God conscious plane? And there is a lot of God complex going around on social media where people are talking about this D, that D, 7D, 5D, 12D, without truly being congruent with that. For me, it's this whole pseudo spiritual kind of, I don't want to degrade it by calling it nonsense, but it's just a lot of things that are banded out without being congruent with it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And the reason why I call this show, Fighting the Demons, and it's a spiritual war. We all know that it's a spiritual war.
Well, not everybody does.
But I was going to say as and when it suits people, because it sounds fancy. Social media has really kind of made this movement great, but it's an information war as well as spiritual. But it's getting and attacking egos. And you and I have had a lot of personal conversations about this, the spiritual side of it, and what's happening through AI, these anti-herogamic attacks, and what's happening to people and their mindsets, and how they're being what I call corroded by ego and by this need to have popularity, subscribers, my truth's better than yours, and it's carrying on. But human behavior, how are we going to like really perceive this? Yeah. So I definitely agree with you. Like, there's just so much going on within this spiritual warfare. It's how we're navigating ourselves through these shores.
Well, I'll address that. But Sherry Peterson says, Mark, do you have those written out for us somewhere? On my Telegram channel, Sherry, I just told you that. Go and join the Telegram channel, and I'll go up there. They're put up every day.
Share that, please, the Mark's channel on Telegram. So if you just go on, can you just repeat that, Mark?
It's t.me/the Mark Attwood Show.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I had a vision at the beginning of this, which was this massive, multi-dimensional, billions of pieces chessboard. And each one of us is a piece on this chessboard. And each one of us is being moved around precisely as God intended in order to achieve the objective, right? Now, this includes things like Lynn Wood slagging off General Flynn. This includes things like Trump being pro-V, right? It's all to draw out the enemy. It's all deliberate, and it's beautiful. And then when we look with retrospect, we're going to look back and go, that's why that person fell out with that person, because it's I think I had this vision 2 years ago, and I'm sticking with it because I know. I mean, the behind the scenes stuff that we've seen, we'll maybe write about one day, but it's crazy. It's been crazy. But I just trust God. The whole bloody thing is about your connection to God. The 100%. Whole thing, the whole spiritual quarantine situation we've been in for 2 years. It's actually been longer, but because of the thing, let's call it 2 years. Has all been about have you got a connection with God? Yes or no? It's an A/B. It's an A/B split test, fucking, and the best thing about it is it's shown people up for who they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the easiest bloody thing to go through, but it's great.
Oh my God. It has been a journey, and I want to pause on that if you don't mind, Mark, because I think seeing as people have been commenting on your okay, all right, I'm not great in sharing this screen. Let's do this.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Okay.
Yes,
let me know if
you're right.
Can you see this, everybody? Can you just tell me you can see it?
Yeah, make it large.
Yeah, here we go. My computer's really slow.
Turn your mic off. It's a bit crackly.
I see you twinkling in the sky, shimmering in Van Gogh's eye, sparkling as the starseed you really are. You've come so far, born onto the facsimile earth, all memories erased. Not one iota of your talents, of the children you once raised. I see you. You never felt accepted. You never felt the same. Your friends and family alien, often seemed insane. They pointed fingers at you. They laughed behind your back. Whilst you were dancing with fairies and angels, you were on a different track. I see you. You felt alone. You did your best. You smiled through all the pain. They beat you and abused you. They knew you'd come to end their reign. As winters came and summers left, the leaves fell over years. The spirit voice inside your soul grew louder through your tears. see you. They broke you down, they tricked you, they stabbed you through the heart. They feasted on your effervescence, they relished your heart. They stole your youth, they stole your money, convinced you they were right. But every time they ripped you open, closer came their night. I see you. Like the caterpillar at the end of life, entombed inside the cocoon. The hero's journey final act, when all seems certain doom. Those belittle words of faith and belief diminish amidst the noise. Yet you hold on, you won't let go. For the battle, you are poised. I see you! Deep, deep down, you hear the cry. In remembrance, you answer, yes. The fight was laid before you. To come was yet the best. Besmirched, belittled, tossed aside, you nearly lost your way. Letting go of all beloveds, you tried your truth to say. I see you. As the veil had dissipated, as all the solids melted, the remnants left fought their way to sovereignty, once doubted. You stood your ground, you found your power, your strength became unbounded. For you are the warrior child of this world. In your brilliance, our future founded. I see you.
You missed the joke at the end.
Oh, sorry.
There's always a joke in. There's a joke at the end. Oh dear.
Oh, see ya.
Don't ever make me run a fucking sand dune for a fucking poem again.
Hold on.
You...
1 second. Sorry. Oh no, I've lost it. Here we go.
That's right. It's okay.
Sorry about
okay. Don't worry about it.
Everyone go on the YouTube channel and
While it's still there.
Well, we're going to put all of Mark's poems on Good Lion TV. Nick, remember we've got to do that.
Yeah, dude. I bet Nick's eating chicken right now. Yeah.
Likes his chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sorry. That gets me emotional. That is one of my favorite ones, and the best is yet to come. That was a lovely one, and it just puts so much in. There's so much depth to ICU and both of those. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm feeling
well. The sword, the pen is truly mightier than the sword, and these what I love about poetry as an art form is that you can if you go and look through all my poems, everything that's been happening is in all of them, and way before a lot of people realize that thing. And they're also manifesting poems as well, and it's been just wonderful to be able to do these things. I mean, when I first came out with them, I mean, some guy, some wiseacre put up a thing about truthers, and I was described as the plagiarist poet because I did a version of If, called If 2020, because If is like my favorite ever poem and saved my life multiple times. And because of the power of, I know Rudyard Kipling was a Mason before anybody says anything, but because of the power of that poem to get me through some of the darkest times in my life, it just came to me. I'm going to rewrite it, remake it, and then boom, get it out. And then all these poems just kept coming out, and it was like the wonderful thing about it. And I want other people to understand this as well, is that you don't need permission. You don't need to be published by a publishing. They're all cabal. Why would you want to be published by a publishing company? Even Hay House. Why?
Exactly.
You don't need the what's the word? The permission? No, it's not the right word. You know, like the credibility that we used to give to being a published author, or being, or somebody telling you that you're good enough to publish a poem, for example, or that you've, you know, getting on YouTube and starting to speak about stuff. I mean, I strongly believe that everybody has knowledge that is greater than somebody else, and that's all you need to understand, really. And your truth is your truth, and this whole period has been about truth vibrations. David Icke wrote a book in '98 called Truth Vibrations, predicting this period of time, which I read 20 years ago. And that's all I've been getting is the truth vibrations. It just goes right down the side of your body. And everything I've done in the last couple of years has been totally, it's like, it's the age of no bullshit. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And, you know, that's why I created that course that I did last year, how to monetize what's already in your head, create a new income stream, and become sovereign quickly. I got told by Spirit to make this course, and I was like, what? Why would anybody want to, what? We're in the middle of this. Why would anybody want to learn about internet marketing in the middle of this? And I was like, and then I did the course, and what I realized was people just needed permission to speak their truth and to have their voice heard. And my opinion, take it or leave it, is that if everybody that understands what the truth is gets online and uses these weapons against the people that created these weapons and start speaking your truth, you will find a crowd, and you will change the lives of that crowd, and you will give hope, and you will give strength, and you will change the frequency of that crowd, because it's all frequency matching. You know, it's not about numbers. I mean, I had a YouTube channel with 30,000 subscribers, got taken down. Boom. My second one is currently on a strike right now. I'm on BitChute and Rumble and Telegram. I've not been on Facebook for 7 months, which is great. It's like coming off crack. Not that I know what that's like, but
definitely, I agree with that.
And the people will find you, you know, and you know, and I've got 700 people on my course, right? And
let's talk about this course. I want to actually know a bit more about it. I know every time we speak, I don't really ask you enough questions. So we've got the Monetize.
Yeah, there's 2 courses that I've done during this. One is how to monetize what's already in your head. That is like
this is what you were just talking about.
Yeah, that's like 30 hours of me lecturing, because I've been doing this a very long time, because I was an internet marketer.
Yeah.
You know, there's my first course. That was 8 hours. Look at that young.
Look at his mugshot there. Look at that.
Ginger bastard. Look at that.
that.
That's back when this was ginger. I've got a Ginga daughter. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, all Mark's children, I've had the privilege to meet them, if you don't mind me saying, such beautiful souls, such good children.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with them all day. They're wonderful.
George, he's such a cutie pie. It's just so funny. He's witty.
He's a fucking comedian. I'll give you that.
Yeah, very witty.
Oh my god! Sorry, just saw a face in the sky. Hello. Yeah, the monetized course is. It sounds like it's about money, and it kind of is, but it's really about empowerment. It's because I teach people how to extract what's in their head, and then how to create a product, and then how to get it out there and get it found. It's like a foundational course, but it was like 20 hours of live lectures that I did over like 6-7 weeks, and then I did all these case studies, and then I did all these Q&As. I think there's about 40 hours worth of training in there, and the whole thing was annotated. It's really easy to follow. You can find it, but there's an amazing community on Telegram as well that goes with it, and the people there, and everybody who's done the course says it's life-changing. Well, most people. It has triggered some people. It does bring up, because I am a triggering kind of person, and that's okay too. Well, I don't mind triggering any. Fuck, you know, if people get offended by anything, fuck them. We're past all that.
Exactly. And it's just about regaining our sovereignty, our independence, away from, like you said, all these publishing companies, and actually doing it ourselves without the whole woo-woo stuff behind it, you know, and empowering people. And there's a lot of like, oh, you know, all this stuff, these truthers shouldn't be selling this and shouldn't be doing that and doing this.
All this judgment, man. It's time for it to go. I mean, I did ayahuasca about 5 years ago, and the spirit of ayahuasca dragged me up. Literally, it's amazing. Like, dragged me up. I mean, one time it actually moved my throat to teaching me how to do frequencies to clear chakras. And I was like, fucking hell, this thing's actually moving my throat. I mean, it's real. Pulled me up and had me in front of this painting. And the painting was beautiful. It was like a painting from spirit, and it comes out off the thing. People say it's tripping. It isn't. You're in a different dimension. That's what I think. That's what I think DMT does. It's the gateway to another dimension. It's not a trip. It's not you don't hallucinate. You're in another dimension.
Oh, you need to speak to Nick with this one. You both need to show on DMT. He's got his movie about that.
You know what me and Nick should do is me and Nick should go to Peru and get for 2 weeks and make a documentary about it, because it's.
Well, he's doing some. I think he's doing something like that with.
Well, where's my fucking ticket, Nick? Anyway, so the painting's there, and it comes out, and it's just forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. And I was like, what it's actually doing is it's talking to your higher self until you get it, until you've really downloaded what forgiveness is. And what it really is you've got to forgive yourself everything, and then forgive everybody else everything, without no caveats, no contracts, no terms and conditions. Just forgive everybody for everything, because the majority of people that have done things that they feel guilty about, because it's all, this is how the AI works, right? So the AI is ancient. It's worked on us for billions of years, and it knows exactly which buttons to press in the human psyche. And what it does is it creates, from a very early age, it creates this incredible level of guilt and shame. And guilt and shame are the locks on the cage that you then stay in until death. Now we've got to smash those things open, forgive everybody everything, including the fuckers that have done this bullshit to us. We've got to forgive them, right? Because the majority of things done wrong to us, or that we've done wrong to other people, you're not really responsible for, because the black goo has whispered in your ear, you know. And again, you realize all these things in your life, all these experiences, all add up to this period. I mean, there was a time in 2013, I think it was, I was in my kitchen. I had a really nice house in Cheshire and a big paddock out the back, and I was chopping vegetables because I was a vegan back then. I'm not anymore, but that's another story. And I was chopping these vegetables and making dinner because I love cooking. And although when Alpa came, I just took her out to restaurants. Couldn't be asked cooking. And I was chopping the vegetables, and this voice in my head, which was my voice, but it wasn't, said, "Kill your children." And it said, all you got to do is just stab. And I dropped the knife, and I ran outside, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And then I found out about V2K, voice to skull technology. And this is a real technology, and they can literally beam thoughts into your head. And this all added up, because my earliest memory was being recruited by demons in my bedroom in the early 70s, which is coming back to the subject of this video. And that's the first thing when I first went on Charlie Ward's show, this just came out. I've told this story a number of times, but it just came out. And then I was like, afterwards, I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm all over the internet talking about being recruited by demons. Everybody's going to think I'm nuts. My business is ruined. I'm ruined. But instead of that, I got loads of emails from people saying, yeah, the same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow. Now I understand why I got compelled to start talking like this, because
well, I've just got goosebumps, because this is what Nick and I were speaking about earlier on today, about this demonic energy. And I'm going to leave that for you two to speak more in depth, but that's literally what's going on. And yeah, sorry, I've just got goosebumps with that. But yeah, carry on. Sorry, just interrupted you there.
No, that's okay. I'm just reading the comments here. And the other course is called Maximize the Light in Your Cosmic Suit in 90 Days. It's like a challenge, because I got challenged by a guy called Jeremy Ayres, who became a good friend of mine during all of this. He's one of the co-authors of The Red Pill Revolution, which is a fantastic book anybody watching this should get if they want to help wake up their relatives and stuff. It doesn't go deep. It doesn't go deep in. Doesn't talk about the stuff necessarily we talk about, but it's kind of a bridge book between 3D and 4D. I think it kind of just explains, because people are obsessed with facts and figures. I'm not. Right, no. I've consumed so many facts and figures, but everything is based on intuition, right? That's our superpower.
That's what's been desensitized. Yeah, we've been hijacked, and our intuitive compass has been severely desensitized, where we don't have the ability to actually trust ourselves, and we outsource everything. We look for outside validation, and this is something that I've observed in the last 9 months, where I had to come off the public arena because I had to go inwards much more. I had to experience so many things on this demonic realm that you were just speaking about. And I just want to touch on something, the point that you raised about forgiveness. Why do you think forgiveness is something very difficult for people to truly embrace, because that's a very important thing. And I just would like to expand on that, because if you're saying that if you truly, truly forgive, I mean, miracles happen, but where and why is it that humanity find it at a congruent level to forgive?
Because I think we've been conditioned to, you know, if you're a Catholic, for example, your guilt is pummeled into you from a very early age. I can't speak for Muslims, but or any other religion. I just happen to know that Catholicism. The whole system, everything in the media, everything is designed to make you feel guilty all the fucking time, and scared, and worried, and nervous, and all these things, and shame, 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 shame. That's why it's just so deeply, deeply ingrained. And it's tough, you know, because you see, your spirit knows the difference between right and wrong. You know, Adolf Hitler was once a baby, once a cute little baby, right? Perfect and innocent, God's own creation, mutilated by your sick machinations. We see you, right? That's what happens. The infiltration happens. This is why demons were trying to recruit me as a kid. And what they were actually saying to me was, you're really powerful. We want you to come onto our side. We want you to work with us. And, you know, and we're going to give you everything you want. This is when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And I knew that they were wrong, and I was resisting them. And I was like, no. And then this really weird thing happened. I've told this online before, but I'll tell it again. It was during the miners' strike in 73, I think it was, where my mum would bring in these little co-op tea lights because the electricity was off 3 days a week or 4 days a week, right? It was called the 3-day week back then. And so the whole country was in darkness with no electricity for half the week. So because I was scared of the dark, my mum would bring this little candle in, and I'd be lying in bed, and I'd sit up in the bed like this, and there was a wall here and a candle here. And on this side was a normal shadow of me. But on the other side of the room was another shadow of me, but it was perfect. There was no blurred edges, and it had 2 horns on it.
Oh,
And I was just sitting up and down going like this, and it was just copying me. And then I was shaking. I was like, what are they? What are they doing in my head? You know, and I had no concept of religion then. I didn't go to church or anything. It was.
Did you talk about it with people, any loved ones, any friends?
No, I blocked it out for years.
Same here.
You know, and I think a lot of us do that, you know.
Yeah.
We do that. You know,
I
that's
used
why
to see a lot of shadows when I was 4 and 5. I was speaking to a friend about this, and I find it still difficult to talk about it like openly and publicly. I'm still not where you're at, but I'll try now. And I think it was around 5, and I used to have these cupboards with mirrors on them, and I used to see this big black shadow, and it used to scare the crap out of me, where I used to be violent to the mirror to try and, because I used to only see it through the mirror, which is weird. And then I would feel something around me trying to scare me, and I wouldn't be able to sleep. And that started, I think, around when I was between 5 and 6. And then, you know, as we were approaching this movement, my interest in trying to figure out what all of this is, you know, understanding the spiritual realm, understanding the dark, understanding the dark, but not really being able to talk about it with any friends or family because they used to think I was nuts. And this is the thing. This is one of the main reasons I wanted to do this show today, is that we are in a spiritual war, we're in a psychological war, and we're in an information war. There's so much out there that, you know, sort of corrodes us and confuses people, and it's designed to do exactly that. In the Vedas, we call it, we're in the dark ages, the Kali Yuga, and there is so much deception going on right now. So going back to like the occult, the black magic, the black goo, all the various names that there is attached to this, is that when I used to see these shadows, I would go to sleep, and then in the morning, this was around about 2015, I would wake up with bruise marks on my arms, like literally fingerprints. And I didn't really talk about it until 2017, when I actually became confident to speak about it with people, because I started inquiring and I started questioning. But the thing that happened there is I started giving my power away, right? Because I started getting obsessed and started thinking, oh my God, the dark, the dark, the dark. And it's because of that. It's because of this. We have our sovereignty. It's great to have the awareness, the understanding about it, and the knowledge. Yeah, because that's why we won't reject it there, but we never align to it. And we never give it the power, because we have the power. We do not consent. We're sovereign. but we have, right? We're sovereign beings of light. We are sovereign beings of light.
They're nothing. They are nothing, but they use fear.
Exactly. And that's been perpetuated in every fraternity, the legal, the medical, the political, or geopolitical, as I say, and in every single realm of our lives. And again, it goes back to the two things that you just said, which is very important and simple: guilt and shame. And that embeds that fear within us, within our psyche, within our psychological makeup. So this is this, and the light switch kind of went on a few months ago because I had to go through certain circumstances, especially, as you know, on a personal note, to really go through that with loved ones, to see what's going on. And would you say, like, just from your observation, just seeing how there's a switch in people, like a real dramatic overnight switch where their personality almost just changes, completely. I mean, I have been seeing so much of that myself personally, and just other people's stories that, they share with me. It's a spiritual war. It really is. But do we give it power? No.
No, absolutely not. It's all about reclaiming our power and not being, stop paying your bills, reclaim your direct debit guarantees. I've got 3 court cases at the moment, and they've all had a thing for speeding and stuff. And they've all had a letter saying, notice of unable to reply. Get yourself educated into common law. I mean, I know that's more complicated than that, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But, take yourself out of the system as much as you can. Create new income streams. Don't be reliant upon the government. They've made us so dependent on them. Suckling on the nipple of the state. Stop it.
Well, that's where your one of your courses. So going back to monetize. So talk to us a bit more.
There's loads of places to get, and stop having gurus, right?
Exactly.
You are the guru,
right?
Not you, Alpa. I'm talking to the audience. No, we're not gurus. No, stop giving celebrity guru status to people. It's take what resonates and leave the rest, and then go within. Always go within. Because we are fractals of God. So we are God. God as above, so below. That's what all this time is for. It's just giving us enough time to start realizing the truth about the universe and about our relationship to God and about who you are. Remember who you are. Go and get healing sessions. Do the affirmations I've just showed you. Find your own affirmations. Understand that. Go out at night. Just stop watching TV. Stop reading the newspapers. Forget all that crap. Go out at night like I do every single night and look for a star that resonates with you. And then start telepathically communicating with it, and you will hear it back. You will hear it back, and then you can call them in. I can call the ships in on demand. It's amazing, and they're real, and they've given me complete confidence during this period because I'm totally grounded by them, and my relationship with God is just amazing. And I was an atheist for 20 years as well. I'm saying all of this because intellectually I was down with Richard Dawkins. I was down with Richard Dawkins 20 years ago. Because I saw this cruel world with all this injustice and inequality in it. And, so I became a socialist because that's what they do. They create these little limited hangouts like socialism or religion, and they're all just corrals on the farm. That's all they are. They're just fenced off areas of the farm that give you a little bit of what you need to satisfy that part of you that makes you feel like you're doing something good in society, or makes you feel like you're connecting to your maker, but it's a limited hangout. It's not the truth. And that's how they've done it. It's genius. This place is a farm. That's all it is.
Perpetuating the divide and conquer, keeping us all separated so we're not embedding that whole unity consciousness.
Absolutely. And unity, I read that poem out on the show with you and Nick, I think. Unity, it's you and me. I tell you what, play a poem while I go to the loo. How's that?
Hold on 1 second. I was gonna say the same as well. Just wait there. Stay there before I get on YouTube. Just wanted so I can see that it goes on.
There's a playlist on my YouTube channel, poems. It's not got all of them on because a lot of them got taken down for medical misinformation. How can a poem have medical misinformation in it? It's a fucking poem. Ugh.
Hold on, just wait. My computer is so slow. I really should have this. This is embarrassing. 1 second.
That's okay. I'm just going to play with this metal thing.
All right, so it is on. It's on the. Which one did you want me to play?
I don't know.
The Purge. No, I
No,
see you don't
no.
comply.
Play something. No, don't play that one. That'll get your YouTube channel taken down. Play We See You. Because I think we need to remind ourselves that whatever is going on, this is all about our children, because they have been consuming our children, right? So this poem.
Oh, do you know? Can we do If? That's my favorite one. I actually got sent that 2 days ago.
If.
Yeah.
Okay, go on then.
Where is We See You? Hold on. Oh, there it is.
It's there somewhere.
All right. Okay. Let's do We See You first, and then we'll do If. And then let me just share the screen, everyone. Share screen. I'm going to do this. You see it? Yeah. Share. Here we go. Enjoy. Oh dear. Sorry guys, it's my computer, it's a bit pants. Sorry, here we go.
We see you. The scales have fallen from our eyes. The veil has drifted down from the sky, meandering firmly, finally revealing your depth of depravity. That's fear you're now feeling. We see you. Your demonic bloodlust laid bare to see. The statue of filth on the BBC. The prince and the madam, the Crispus spy. The islands of horrors in the ocean lie. We see you. A billion souls stolen over the years. You hid them deep down to drown their tears. Perfect and innocent, God's own creations, mutilated by your sick machinations. We see you. Vlad the Impaler and his vile descendants, fleeing the palace from the 5D ascendants. The virus distracted, but gave us the time to peel back the layers of your heinous crimes. We see you. Run, as fast as you can. Back for more orders from the Phoenician clan. Out of White Rabbit, the looking glass cracked. Tipping point reached, odds against you now stacked. We see you. Pizza and hot dogs, pasta and sauce.
Yeesh.
Your sickness decoded your lack of remorse. Our slumber is over, our eyes not wide shut. For the children of Haiti, a knife to your gut. We see you. Ascension is powered by the light of the flare. Scramble like rats to the ruins of your lairs. It's over, it's over. Save our children, we cry. Revealed, reviled. It's your soul's time to die. We see.
Do you see that?
You.
Is there anything that's going to be at the end?
No, this one's just straightforward. I hope I didn't scare Kenzo there.
Oh gosh, yeah, you can see me. Oh, okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah,
I thought
I can all see you and hear you. That's why there's loads of comments about puppies in the
Oh, okay. I can't see because it was a full screen. I just wanted to give him a cuddle. Oh well, Kenzo, you're on. You're on. Okay,
If I hadn't actually met that dog, I wouldn't believe it was real.
Oh, you have, haven't you?
So cute.
Hello, Kenzo. Okay, I didn't realize he was on live. Okay, I want to do "If" because that's one of my favorite poems. If you don't mind.
I don't
Right,
mind. You know, if the audience doesn't mind. I mean, they're all gifts from God, really. I don't take too much credit for them, but I'm very pleased to have been able to make them. There
This
it is.
I got sent this by my very good friend Brian the other day, and this is just
Don't forget to mute yourself this time.
pertinent to a lot going on in. Oh yeah. Oh.
If you can keep your head when all about you are wearing masks and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when your neighbours doubt you but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait for the lockdown to be over or stop believing in government lies don't deal in lies, or being hated for posting truth on Facebook, and use your intuition to get wise, if you can dream the golden age to come here faster, if you can think for yourself and not
The sounds disappeared, Alpa. There's no sound.
Now?
force your nerves and
Yeah.
courage to speak your voice.
And they missed half the poem.
So hold on. When there is nothing in you,
Need to go back.
to face the dawn. If you can talk on YouTube and keep your virtue, or speak your truth without losing the common touch, if neither trolls nor loving friends convert you, if all followers count with you but not too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of meditation in 5D, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a multi-dimensional being. You'll see.
That was a terrible experience for the viewers.
Oh God, sorry.
It's okay. It's because I think your microphone was picking it up, so you have to mute yourself.
Oh,
Pause the video.
Let me pause it. Sorry about that, guys.
I've
I'm not great with StreamYard.
I've actually got these videos not on YouTube as well. If you want me to,
Yes,
know.
please.
you
Sorry about that. The first one was good. This is why, yeah.
if anybody, if some people have said restart it, I don't know if they want to watch that again. If it's,
Yeah, go on Mark's YouTube, and he's got all of his poetry there, and I think you'll have a better experience than me trying to be all technically.
Well, I can play the actual videos themselves without going to YouTube from here.
Oh yeah, go on.
If you want.
Yeah, do one of those. So let's have a better experience. Here we go.
If you share that. There you go.
Sorry about that.
Mute yourself, Alpa.
If you can keep your head when all about you are wearing masks and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when your neighbours doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait for the lockdown to be over, or stop believing in government lies don't deal in lies, or being hated for posting truth on Facebook, and use your intuition to get wise, if you can dream the golden age to come here faster, if you can think for yourself but not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with Trump and avoid disaster and treat those two just the same, if you can bear to be called a conspiracy theorist, a CIA term to make a trap for fools, or watch long-held beliefs become absurdist and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap from all your crypto and get some gold and not give a toss, and lose your debts and start a new beginning and never breathe a word about it to your boss, if you can force your nerves and courage to speak your voice when it seems they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the strength to face the dawn. If you can talk on YouTube and keep your virtue, or speak your truth without losing the common touch, if neither trolls nor loving friends can hurt you, if all followers count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of meditation in 5D, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a multi-dimensional being. You'll see.
Oh, you cut it off again. What is wrong with you? You're
sorry.
such a happy chopper.
Go on.
This is what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Sorry.
You're honestly, you're a happy chopper. You are.
I'm just like, I just sent a message to Technotard. Technotard. Yeah, it's not changed in the 2 years. I have. Yeah, I've got this aversion to technology. I still have. It's just,
no. That's a belief. That's a belief.
I know. Again.
Everything's a belief. Stop talking to yourself like that. Start talking to yourself. Say, why am I so good with technology? Why am I so good with technology? That's what you're going to do. When people sign up to my email list, I have a free PDF that I wrote 2 years ago, The Secrets to Manifesting. And what's interesting about listening to those poems, I mean, that's 2 years old, is I've been consistent all the way through. You know, I'm talking about manifesting, talking about 5D, I'm talking about being on YouTube and Facebook. I felt pretty uncomfortable writing those words at the time, but it's all true.
Yeah.
You know, everybody should be speaking out and not be afraid. And, you know, and even in the previous poem, I talked about the solar flare. That's 2 years ago. You know,
we're hitting one now this weekend, this new moon. I mean, there's so much on social media about this, so much noise about the Lionsgate portal, and today's the new moon, and, you know, incoming solar flare energies, and you'll be feeling
been going on.
That it's been going on.
It's been going on for years. I mean, I did a deep astral journey last year, and I actually saw in my you know, meditation this unbelievable lion. It was Aslan, it was Christ, it was Lyran. It was just amazing. And you know, and it's things like this is why everybody's got to meditate, and you've got to go inside. You've got to listen to that voice, because that is the truth. And when you feel it, and you know, when you hear truth being spoken, you know, I'm getting it now. I get my son calls it the Mark tingle, like the Peter tingle in Spider-Man. It's more than goosebumps. It's like it goes through your whole body, and it's we've all got the ability to tap into this, and I think that this has taken what we perceive as time, because enough people need to experience it. And I think Nick mentioned in the comments earlier about the reincarnation moon. The reincarnation wheel is a machine, and if you look on I talked to these amazing guys the other day called One Conscience and FPV Angel, and they've done some incredible research into the true nature of the reality of this plane that we're in. You know, because everybody's obsessed with it. Is it round? Is it flat? Is it round? Is it flat? Is it a fucking toroidal field? Well, you know, these guys looked into the NASCAR lines and then put those NASCAR lines onto a map of the Earth and realized that the NASCAR lines are actually a schematic for a giant machine, and that there are 144,000 points around the Earth where these robotic angels operate the machinery of this planet. And when you see a rainbow, you're just seeing this bit, but actually it's a full circle like this. And there is video footage when you can actually see the full circle, and that's the energy signature of one of these. I mean, there's so much interesting stuff for us to learn that we know nothing about.
And I still think there's so much more. We go on these shows and we try and, you know, speculate. We research. We do so much, but do we know enough? No. There's so much more.
Nick's just said there, the like is a trap. They don't allow for a full review of your entire lives, just one that they pick and choose what to show you. Absolutely, because that's why we've been here so many times. I mean, Ian Welch told me the other day that I've had 250,000 lifetimes, and 1,600 of which have been on Earth. And
the samsaric wheel of our soul.
You know, so what I'm saying, it's all machinery. It's a machine. It's incredible. And all these guys are here helping us through this. And I think there's a machine that they have, which is, I call it the consciousness machine, which is measuring all of us, and it knows when we're at the right point to be ready for the ascension to happen, which is why it takes so long, or it feels like it's taken so long, because it's because of us, because we are the ones that have to do the work. We have to face the shadow. You know, all of this is about facing the shadow. And the Hopi prophecy talks about the eagle and the condor coming together. And what it's really talking about is dark and light. And when they come together and merge, when we face the shadow, that's when we evolve. And it's what an amazing time to be here. You know, I know people have been scared about fly just flew into my drink there.
Nice.
You know, I know, you know, one of the hardest things about all of this as a broadcaster during this time is keeping chipper and doing jokes and, you know, trying to keep it lighthearted, even though people are dying, you know, and people are taking this and they're going to die, you know, and it's tough. And all the breakups with families and everything else. It's really, really, my granddad died at the beginning because he couldn't understand why he was being locked up. He was a bit of a fighter. He kicked off, and then they put him in a ward, and then he died. And it's everybody's contract. Everybody, you know, chose to be here. Everybody's already chosen whether they're going to ascend or not.
Exactly.
You know,
we've signed up. We came in. We signed up to these scripts, and the sooner people understand that, you know, we can make way for so much spiritual growth and evolution. And at the moment, we're seeing a lot of people in families, especially in the Indian community, fly off, and people are still scared to, you know, connect the dots. But having said that, I'm very fortunate that especially over the last 4 or 5 months, I've reconnected with a lot of people that I disconnected from. And these are relations that I've had for over 20 years. And I feel very fortunate that, you know, one of my friends said, Alpa, it was just weird. We had to kind of distance ourselves from you because we didn't sign up. This is interesting what they said. We didn't sign up to this version of you.
Did. Yes, you did.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize our relationship was on this sort of like unknown contract to me. Well, I didn't sign anything. I didn't sign up for anything with you. It's just how we evolve as, you know, in our connection. And human beings, we need that connection. Yeah. And this is why we all kind of gravitated towards each other in these 2 years. Some, you know, some relationships stayed, some we're like, well, I don't know this person very well. But for me, it's been nice. It's been nice to be to actually reconnect with a lot of people that I thought I'd fallen out with. A lot of them have taken the thing, and a lot of them are admitting to me. My cousin in America, in fact, Nick met him, and, you know, he had to take both of them for his work. And now he's suffering the consequences. And he's like, you know, all sorts of stuff are going on with his brain. And it's very sad to watch. But we're in a place where we don't want to be like, we told you so. Because we're going into that judgment and that ego.
I kind of do.
I know.
I fantasize about a queue of people around my house coming to the door saying, please tell us what's going on. We don't understand.
We told you. Mark's next poem.
Yeah, I'm going to write that.
We told you.
We told you, motherfuckers.
Profanities, Mark. My mum's here somewhere. She can hear.
Yes, there's a lot of swearing in my
told you. I know. But yeah, no, I think that's your next poem. Watch This Space by Mark Attwood Poetry. We told you. But this is the thing, you know, we did, but I mean, I seek no glory in that. And you're like, I do. But the thing is, he's just gone through that stage where it's not that I don't care. We exhausted ourselves.
This has been hard work. I mean, so, you know, the amount of flack that you get doing this is incredible. And I often have to remember the courage it took at the beginning. When I saw you, first time I saw you, I was like, wow, this woman's amazing. And she's just giving it all. And just watching people get up and actually speak in the middle of that psychological war, it was so intense, you know? And it was like, I had this epiphany. I mean, apart from the fact that God was saying, go on YouTube, right? I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I had this epiphany, and everybody should remember this, that if the bad guys were in control, because I've been studying these conspiracies for years, right? I read the Georgia Guidestones years ago. I read every David Icke book that he published. I watched amazing people like Ola Damagard and some of these incredible Project Camelot videos from years ago, right? That were telling us about Project Looking Glass like 14 years ago. You know, this is the stuff that I consumed. Alex Jones, I watched him for years. You know, I just consumed. And you know, everybody thinks you're a complete nutter until it starts happening, and then it's actually like, this is real, right?
Well, that must have been great for you, because I knew sod all when I came onto this movement. Nothing. I was that gullible and naive. I knew nothing about the children. I wasn't interested in conspiracy theories. I never watched TV. I just used to watch a lot of, like, you know, all these gurus talk on YouTube. And even that was intoxicating, because it's that whole guru complex. But yeah, the stuff that you talk about and that you knew, and probably appearing to be completely whacked with all of your friends. And now look at it. People are being much more open to it.
Oh, they are. It's called the Great Awakening, not the Itsy Bitsy Awakening. It's the Great Awakening. And
why did it happen in 2020?
It's definitely happening. And this is why when I started going online, I was like, what's my purpose here? Because, you know, there were a lot of people out there chasing news and intel. It was just fucking intel, and they got really famous, right? And it was all about numbers, and then it was about money, and then it was about all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, is it really about intel? And so I started trying to talk about solutions. So I started talking about health and things you can do right now to enhance your sovereignty, and humor, and, you know, poetry, just, you know, to make a
creative. Yeah.
You know, I created a little place where hopefully I empower people in themselves, because that's how real change happens. You know, constantly chasing the intel, to me, is just as bad as watching the mainstream news in a lot of ways, because then you're focused on all these bad things going on. And no, I do share things that go on in the 3D world on my Telegram channel, for example, but I do it out of this is interesting. You know, I come from a place of, like, let's see what they're doing, right? I mean, I told my wife years ago that the reason why I bought the Sun newspaper is because I wanted to see how they were mind controlling the plebs, and that you know, and that because I needed to know what shit they were sharing, because I wanted to understand how they were pulling. I mean, how do you pull this off? It's hilarious, really. When, you know, we talk about the Matrix, but most people don't understand how deep it is, because it all seems so lovely and real.
How do you feel if you watch the news now? It's just the frequency of news. It makes me feel anxiety.
I can't watch it. My mum, if I go and visit my mum, she's got the fucking BBC turned up full volume. Why have you got that on? Because I'm lonely. Yeah, but that's not. I'm not watching anything. I'm just watching dating shows. Yeah, I know, but it's got fucking signals in it that made you go and have this, you silly cow. So it's a bit frustrating. Do you know what I mean? But no,
it's like my dad this week. Trump is going to Trump. He can't say Trump. You see, Bana, you've seen Trump. He's going to get into jail now. Dad, switch CNN off. Trump, you know?
Trump.
And then my mum is like, I don't want to get the vaccine. Yeah, this done, because you see, and now she's talking about it to all her friends, and like she's got the I told you so kind of thing. And I'm really proud of both my parents, you know, they didn't do that. But yeah, when my dad comes around, it's just all about CNN and BBC, and he still gets into it, and he still believes it, even though, like, I've spent the last 2 years trying to say, no, Dad, it doesn't exist. But I get anxiety, and it's the frequency that the news is played at. And that's what gets programming.
When they did the whole digital switchover in the UK, when, you know, Tony Blair bought the digital switchover, fucking wanker. When he brought that in, right? What a cunt. You know, I came home one day and I noticed that all 5 kids, I had 5 kids under the age of 6 at this time. And I walked in through the playroom and they were all watching TV. And I went, hi, kids. And then I realized that none of them had seen me. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And I was like, they were all completely hypnotized. And it was all that digital switchover, because they embedded some code into it and some signal that hypnotizes you. So I threw out the TV. I stopped paying the TV license. And that's the first time I really stood outside the Matrix, because I knew they were going to come for me. And when they did come, I'd already learned. This is why I said to people, learn some common law stuff, because it works. Yeah. And when they came to my door, They said, are you Mr. Attwood? And I said, I'm not answering that question. And I'm recording you for YouTube later in case you piss me off. And then I said this amazing line, which I'd learned from other people that have done the work. And it was, I refute your implied right of access to this property. Now, please leave. And as I said it, I was shaking. I was holding the phone like this. And I was like, is he going to arrest me or whatever? And he just turned around and walked off the property. And I was like, oh, this works.
Yeah.
Because it's all about claiming your sovereignty and understanding that they operate everything from mortgages, mortgage, death grip, right? From mortgages to the tax system, to the TV license, to the energy, which they already get free from the ether anyway. And then they pretend that they create it and, blah, blah, blah. It's all fraudulent. All of it's fraudulent.
I had that with the council tax because I stopped paying the council tax and I was shaking because I had the bailiffs round. And I just said, when they asked me as well, like, what's your name? I said, I don't need to answer that. And I was like, crap. I'm like, where is it? Because I had written it down. And I just said, you're trespassing on my property. And then I just closed the door. And I was like, crap, I was shaking so much. But yeah, there's so much we can do. I mean, it's still going on. But yeah, I follow some of the common law channels on Telegram. There's loads of templates on there with what you can say, with parking tickets. Funny thing is, right, I've got one which I need to inquire. If anyone knows that, please email me about this. I have got this cyclist caught me while I was stationary in traffic. My phone had fallen and I'd put it back up and I was just re-inputting the address that I needed to go to. And he filmed me doing that and he didn't film me putting it back on the phone holder. And now I've got a summons from the... no, not summons, but a letter from the Metropolitan Police saying that you're going to be disqualified and you've got £1,000 fine and you've got 28 days to deal with this. So I'm like, oh God, I don't know how to deal with this one. But if anyone knows, please message me.
Well, I put out a meme last year saying the whole world is run on red ink and yellow paint. Because we see yellow paint and we go, oh, can't park there, mate. And then you see red ink on the letters or black ink or whatever, final demand, final, and this is all in school. They did. That's why the teachers write or used to write in the red ink. It was to instill fear in you.
Exactly.
Because we're self-slaughtering sheep.
Yeah.
The human race ourselves. I did this analogy years ago. Imagine being a farmer who could breed sheep that just killed themselves at the right point. That's what we are. That's exactly what we are.
So there's cattle on the stock market.
They're in Barbados smoking their cigars while, we're all going down and queuing up for this. They're like, oh, this is working beautifully.
People are queuing up for their boosters.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It is absolutely insane. But look, Mark, I mean, God, I didn't even realize we've gone 1 hour.
Yeah, I've got to go and pick kids up from the beach.
Yeah, it's been really, really nice. And
let me share the best is yet to come because that's a great way to end because it's really positive.
Go on.
May I?
Yeah, sure. Go. Yeah, so if anyone wants to know about the courses that Mark was talking about, the links are on the description below, the Monetize and the Maximize. Here we go. Sure, is this, have you put it up?
Yeah, see if that's the right one. Yeah, I mean, the courses that... yeah, all right. The best is yet to come. In the days of future past, we'll look back on the storm when the world was wearing masks, when America was torn. When 5D chess was played with such finesse, when criminals floundered and were left to guess. Their codes were broken, their weapons gone. Flynn's digital soldiers marched to the song of QAnon. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come. We gathered closely in the end of days, fighting for our rights. When this virus washes through, it'll be like a burst of light. With golden hearts we raise the earth into the Aquarius age. Phoenicians gone and demons run, we broke out of our cage. King Cyrus rose to take the fight to the fiends of Babel once again, removing fear and usury, the chains that held down men. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come. In the time of revelations, the devil's hand was shown. His heinous crimes against mankind finally were known. As the great awakening gathered speed, as the veil did turn to dust, new heroes forged and laws were made that finally were just. From Guantanamo Bay to the last hooray, the serpents were all done. The shots heard round the world, and the end of Babylon. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come. In God we trust and trust the plan. Our faith was tested hard. We held on tight to the might and ran the final yard. The looking glass, it showed the way when everything seemed lost. Survival of the human race at monumental cost. The storm it came, and when it did, you said it was upon us. We held the lights for the golden age, a manifested promise. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come. The sword of the Spirit and the shield of faith, extinguishing the arrow's fire. Finally, the sons of Cain laid on the funeral pyre. Bittersweet the victory was. In righteous grace we thanked you. We raised our heads and looked ahead to sovereign times anew. The quantum era and Tesla's dreams finally found their way. In fireside talks far in the future, we know our children will say, the song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come.
Right.
Booyakasha.
I'm not going to stop it. Yeah, I can stop it now. Okay. I don't want to it was a joke. Mark, I mean, I just want to acknowledge everybody who's been in the chat, everyone that's watching. Thank you so much. This has been just an amazing chat with you, Mark. I mean, it's like talking to one of my best friends. It just reminds me of the last 2 years have been, oh God, what a journey. And through your poems, it always grips me here in my soul and my heart, and so many memories. I just want to acknowledge Yuvraj, a very good friend as well. He makes movies. Nick, thank you, the health junkie. I mean, so many lovely lovely feedback about your poems.
Amazing. Well, they're amazing people, all of them. I've never met the health junkie, but I've always read the comments, and it's so amazing.
So sweet, yeah, kick ass, everyone.
Yeah, but I need to say something about you. Because you have been an angel throughout this whole period, right? Your strength. I mean, people will not, and one day we'll tell the story of the attacks that we've all been under. But you've been on death's door through this process, and your courage to come back again and again and again is really inspirational, right? Never. Fuck. Never, don't ever put yourself down again, because you've given. I've met people at these events and stuff. Oh, Alpa's my favorite. She's amazing. You have no idea what you've done, and the fact that you're still here, I thank God for, because you are one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met, and it's just been an absolute pleasure to stand shoulder to shoulder with you through this whole period. There's so many people that I've met, but you're very special, Alpa. So don't ever forget that, and keep going, because people need you.
I call myself the crybaby of the movement, because I just can never hide it. And Mark's going, when he calls me, or I call him, and then I'm like having to say something, I end up crying. He's like, no more tears, don't cry, because I just well up. But thank you very much. I'm humbled that you said that, and I'm just very, very proud of this, all the friends that I've made in this movement, you especially. Our first show, I implore everyone to go and watch the very first show with Mark and myself. It was almost like we both got a blessing to kind of, Mark has encouraged me from day one. In fact, it was because of him that I started this YouTube channel, and I just was happy going on. Do you remember the days I was going on Charlie Freak's show, Charlie Ward's? I was very content. I didn't have any aspiration to start a channel. And the day I did, I remember speaking to a friend that day saying, I'm really nervous about this one because I'm speaking to Sky Mark Attwood, and I still had my sort of corporate kind of tone on, because I was very,
you did.
I was very corporate and business-like, because I was in financial services and I just worked with all men. So I had this completely different demeanor about myself. And of course, very shy, very I didn't like public speaking. I still get like that. And she said, speak to Archangel Ashtar, or if you follow your Vedic beliefs, Lord Shiva. And I was like, how do you know? That's my kind of Ishtadev. That's my god of, that for strength and everything, that my go-to, a representation of the Om. And she just goes, I just feel that. And the irony was that around 22 minutes, and please everyone watch it, this beautiful light. Now here, there's no window here. It's just a wall. There's no reflection. And it was this beautiful blue light that came over me. And I just see that as a blessing for both of us on this journey. And how we've maintained a great friendship. We've encouraged each other, and it's been magical through the trials and tribulations. And 2 years on, almost, you're back on the show, on the Love in Action show, because that's what this is about. Love is the greatest power. Love is the highest currency, as I say. And thank you, Mark, for those lovely words, and thank you for being and imparting the most beautiful, humorous, creative poetry for us all. Because the comments, they've just been amazing. And I love you all. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting Mark. Thank you for supporting Nick on Good Lion. Nick has been, he's just been great with the work that he's done on Good Lion. And for meeting Nick and being and starting ARII is a dream come true, because the subject of autism has been very close to my heart. So, thank you, Nick, for allowing me to be on this journey for ARII alone, and we haven't even started. So with that said, everybody, on a few last parting words, Mark, please impart some final nuggets of wisdom.
Just remember, it's not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect. We've all got darkness and shadow sides that we have to work through. Just go easy on yourself. Go inside and take care of yourself first. Because if you're on a plane and it's in trouble, you have to reach for the oxygen before you put it on the child. Right? That's the important thing we've got to remember. And just be kind to yourself and kind to everybody that you meet as much as you possibly can. And we've got this, and God wins.
God wins. God wins. And thank you, Richard. He's put that the link up for the show, our first show. Thank you so much, Richard. Richard's just such an amazing soul. He's always been very supportive and moderating my shows and Nick's shows. And look, I really appreciate that. Please, everyone, I do want you to go and watch that, because that light for me is just a marker and reinforces and re-encourages me not to give up, to show that God does win. God really wins, and God's always there showing you through signs, the synchronicities, the numerology. Like we said, they've just been off the charts in the last few days. So with that said, everyone, thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you for being very supportive to all of us. And God wins. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
And broadcast. Are we ending? Has it ended? Oh no, it hasn't. There we go.